Good afternoon. I'm Joe Keiper, the director of the Virginia Museum of Natural History, and this is my video contribution to the virtual 2020 Reptile Festival. So while we look forward to doing another live one, it's always a great time and a lot to learn, a lot of cool stuff to see. We're going to do our best with these videos. And so what I thought I'd do is kind of work on something that kind of have a little bit of personal experience with. We have a fossil site here in Southern Virginia, about 20 miles east of Martinsville, right on the Virginia-North Carolina border, called the Solite Quarry. Now the Solite Quarry is something that has yielded fossils from the shales there for decades. However, about 5 or 6 years ago, there was some news that came to us that the quarry owners had changed hands. So now there were new owners and they knew nothing about the fossil layer that we had. And it's especially this one area we call the trench, where previous owners had just basically left alone and allowed us to get periodic access to that fossil-rich layer. Well, we were very nervous, so myself and former curator Dr. Alton Dooley, we hot-tailed it out there, and we found the foreman, and we brought him over to the trench. And fortunately for me, there was a fish eroding right out of the hillside right in front of us, and I showed it to him, and he was like, "Oh my God, I had no idea. This is so cool." And he really got into it and was fascinated by the whole thing. So that company gave us Saturday access, and they would guarantee that they would keep the trench safe because they were blasting very close to it. It was a near miss. They would give us Saturday access for at least a year. And so we just made it our mission to go in on Saturdays and recover as much fossil-rich shale as we could and put it into long-term storage for future use and analysis. And so that really turned into a great adventure. I personally spent about 30 Saturdays out there, and boy, the museum workers and colleagues that went out there from Appalachian State and Roanoke College and many other institutions, they worked under really tough conditions. It might have been 100 degrees out down in that trench during the summer, or you might be splitting shale while sitting on a frost-rimmed boulder, right? So, you know, it was hard work, but very satisfying, and we just got hundreds of boxes of fossil-rich shale removed from that area. So let me show you a couple of things that relate specifically to Reptile Fest. So the first fossil I'm going to show you, this is one we actually have on display. So this is a cast. This is not the real one, but it's a really good cast. So, but can't wait for you to come back to the Virginia Museum of Natural History or visit us for the first time and go into Uncovering Virginia in our Solite Quarry exhibit, and you can see the actual fossil of this creature. So let's go in for a closer look. So what we have right here is a fossil of a long-necked lizard reptile called Tanytrachelos. And this is a really good, very complete specimen, right? So now looking right at it, you can see a lot of the details of the skeleton of this lizard-like creature. But if I tilt them a little bit and we get some incident light, as we might call it, on the fossil, some of the bones really pop. So let me see if I can trace the outline for you here. This is the head. It's a little mangled. They get crushed. This is the long neck, right? This was an aquatic creature and probably used that neck to reach out and capture things like insects or other small animals for his meals. Then we have a rib cage, we have front legs, we come down to the pelvic region right here, and then we have hind legs, and then even a little bit of the tail is preserved in this particular specimen, right? So Tanytrachelos is actually pretty abundant in this site. It was probably a very active predator in a shallow water ecosystem. Fortunately, there was good preservation, and we found during that year that we dug, we probably found, I don't know, about 200 or so of these specimens. But I'll tell you what, every time I cracked open a bit of shale and there was a Tanytrachelos in there, it still got my blood up, man. I tell you, it was really exciting. And when you got something that was, you know, more rare or never seen before out there, it was just very exciting. It was just one of the greatest adventures I ever really got to participate in. But it wasn't just the animals that lived there. They, of course, existed amongst plants. So this thing here, this is an actual slab of solite shale, and you're going to see, it's going to be a little tough to see, but we'll figure it out. You'll see some this bit of black shale, and you'll see kind of maybe shiny is the word to use, fragments of material, and those are all fragments of plants. So again, let's go in for a closer look. When you take a look, you can begin to see that it's getting kind of busy. There's material on there, and wow, when we tilt this and we get some incident light, you know, some of these plant fragments just really become quite apparent and quite beautiful to see. In fact, there's just heaps of plants on this bit of shale. So right here we have kind of a fern-like bit of a leaf that's been preserved, and these basic like smears that you see all around here are fragments of plant leaves, probably cycads. But this kind of stuff was really abundant out there. In fact, you know, you're guaranteed to get just heaps of plant fragments out there. So we always kept the ones that actually had either really good preservation of leaves showing a lot of features, or those that had complete leaves. And so we have a lot of this material and a lot more to go through. So this shows that, you know, we really did have an active ecosystem here at the Solite quarry. Now, but it wasn't just the plants and animals there. We also have evidence of some of their activities, and this is always fun to show. All right, so here, if we go in for a closer look, we have a piece of shale that's been split, and if we break it open here, we got part and counterpart. So this is the part, here's the counterpart of a small fossil here. And this is a coprolite, or fossilized fecal material, probably from a fish. You know, we not only get the animals, but we get evidence of the activities of their, well, in this case, their digestive activities, the final portions of that. And these materials went into some fine sediment at the bottom of the shallow lake, and because of that, there is no oxygen down there, and therefore no decomposition. Then over time, millions of years, we get to a point where you know, these materials become fossilized, and we can find them in this rock form. So that's pretty neat. So here we have just a nice example of the part and counterpart of the coprolite. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to go to the Solite quarry. Yeah, here it is right here behind me on this mural in our lobby. I'm going to stick my talking head right in the middle of the action here. So what we have to our left is the actual working quarry. You can see how close they got to the trench. To the right, you can see those people there, those museum workers, and they're busy at work, splitting shale and hauling it away after being boxed up. So it was great fun doing all that, and a lot of great collegiality. A lot of lunches at the Railroad Cafe on the east side of Eden. But anyway, that was good camaraderie. So why is this place so important? Why is the Solite quarry and the fossil we find so important? 250 million years ago, we have what we call the Great Permian Extinction. It was one of Earth's major extinction events, and it was huge. I mean, the fossil record just drops off, and we lose a huge proportion of Earth's biodiversity. The Solite quarry and the layers we dug are at 225 million years old, so about 25 million years of the blossoming of biodiversity on Earth, and it was captured here at the Solite quarry. So we found just a load of insects, and we have colleagues who've worked with them and described in a lot of new species never before seen by science. We have lots of fish, Tanytrachelos, a gliding reptile, Tanytrachelos. You can come here and see the original find of Tanytrachelos. We have that on display. And while we were digging out there back around 2014, 2015, one of our workers actually found 2 more specimens. So that doubled the number that we had. We went from having 2 for many years to now having 4. So, and Tanytrachelos is only known from the Solite quarry. A lot of great stories, a lot of great material, a very important part of Earth's history, and also something that's really nice for us because it's quite local. It only takes us about 25 minutes to drive out there. So we hope to see you over here at the Virginia Museum of Natural History. Once we get the all clear and open back up to the public, you get a chance to see the Solite quarry exhibit in the Uncovering Virginia exhibit gallery. So, and you can see some of these fossils that I was talking about here today. So have a happy Reptile Fest, and everyone stay safe out there.